Race 1 of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season. It's women's skeleton up first in a busy day. It's Saturday, Lake Placid, New York, the double Olympic venue, holding the first races of the season. Double race weekends coming up for everybody in a busy time for the Lake Placid track. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me John Morgan. John, with one heat down in the season, we've got plenty to contemplate for our second heat.
Yeah, Mimi Rivera, who's won twice last year on the World Cup. She's always a threat and a lot of experience on this track. Sixth best start time, but on the bottom she found some speed. I really think she's got a chance to challenge, although she's a little bit off the pace. She's 11/100ths out of that next medal. She's the bronze medal position. And Janine Flock, she's got 70 World Cup starts. She's the most experienced athlete in the field. Always finds way to get good speed on the bottom, which she did. Deficient start time, 18th best start time, but she finishes in a silver medal spot. Jacqueline Lölling, multiple world champion, Olympic medalist, one of the worst starts in the field, tallest, probably heaviest athlete in the field. All she does is the queen of speed on the bottom, blew everybody away, and is the leader by 0.2 of a second. Martin, we've seen this act before.
Big advantage for Lölling. Janine Flock looks like she's pretty clear in second, but look at Mimi Rivera and Tina Herman, 1/100th of a second apart, ahead of Anna Fehn-Stetova. And then this big group from Kim Milemans on back. There's a 10th to Jane Channel, but Channel 100th ahead of Kendall Wessenberg, who took a bronze here in February. Nikita, who won here in February, in 9th. Another 100th back, Marina Gilardoni. 500s back, a tie. Kimberly Boss and Megan Henry, the rookie. Laura Dees, 100th behind. Sophia, and it goes on and on. It's close. It is very close.
Look at the poor Russian girls in her rookie debut. Yeah. She misses by 100th for qualifying for the second run.
Yeah.
And she had the 4th best start, too.
Top 20 go through, and the athletes get a chance not to change the runners, but to change the setup of the sled. Temperature this morning, 4 or 5 degrees colder than it was in training the last couple of days, so that's probably made a difference. Ice a little bit harder, a little bit skiddier, and so you've got to adapt your driving first of all in the first heat, but then you can maybe make a couple of changes to the bow on the sled and either increase or decrease the contact patch depending on whether you need more or less control. Jacqueline Lölling, the leader though, she's worked hard on her starts over the summer, John, so she's starting the same as Janine Flock. Not as quick as the Russian girls like Elena Nikita, and they're our start record holder. So
Worst to first here.
Yeah, Maddie Charney, 20th place. She goes off first. Leslie Stratton on her World Cup debut, 19th in the first heat. She goes off second. Then Jackie Narracott, Yulia Kanikina. And so our first round leader waits until the last, until she has to defend her lead.
She's done that before, though.
Yeah, she's done a lot of hanging around, waiting for the others to see what they've got. So again, with the snow coming in, roof over the track means that's not a factor here. Ready to start our second heat of the season for Women's Skeleton World Cup. Madison Charney of Canada, her 4th ever World Cup race weekend. 25-year-old from Calgary in Canada.
17th at last year's World Championships, Martin, and she's got a lot of points on the Intercontinental Cup and the secondary tour, and we saw her at the World Championships. Start, 17th best start in the first run with a 45, and she posts a 47 in this heat. That little tap there, the second tap, is a real big mistake. The first tap's a norm.
Made her World Cup debut here in Lake Placid back in 2016. This is only her 4th World Cup outing, though.
She had a second place draw, so she was down second person. I think it's got a little warmer, Martin. The track record, well, Jacqueline Lölling was 10/100ths from the track record in the first run, and you know, snow is falling. Those are good lines, 114.4 kilometers an hour.
Much nicer looking run, a little less wild from Maddie Charney. Maybe those nerves again coming back. 55.82 first run and 56.2. Okay, so she got a little bit of snow through the chicane. So maybe Wilder was a little faster in the first heat, 56.20.
But Martin, she's a half a kilometer down to her first speed. in the first heat down on that speed trap below the chicane. So I don't know if that's good enough. Plus, she didn't make it all the way up.
Yeah.
Usually you come all the way up. Here, this tap here on the right is the norm. But when she comes over and hits the take-on, before that, that pushes her in the middle of the curve. That is a mistake. Here, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, you're going to not see too many sleds come down like that through that chicane part for the rest of the day.
All right, well, she is our leader for the moment. First of our 20 sleds in the second heat. Orvi Garrett carrying the sled for Maddie Charney. Leslie Stratton of Sweden started her sliding program with the USA. Family lives in New Hampshire. And she has a 500th of a second advantage over Maddie Charney from the first heat. Her World Cup debut, she did her first World Championships in February in Whistler before she got to start a World Cup race for Sweden.
Yeah, the 24th best start in the field in the first run, and she improves by 100, but she was very surprising at the bottom part of the track with top 10 speed, you know, like an 11th or 12th maybe speed. And that's what carried her into the position for the second run, Martin, because she was like 24th on the exit of Shady.
She flew through corner 12. John Montgomery had a good thought about flying off 12. He said, there's no friction when you're in the air. The secret is to land it.
Look at the speed. On the left, 111.4.
All right, 1100s at the start. She went away to 210s, but now she's back in the lead over Maddie Charney. She had 500s in hand
This
for
is
the
where
first
she
heat.
did it. She does it again, 116.4. This time she doesn't hit the wall. She's going to be the leader, Martin.
Mum and Dad are going to be here next week to watch her race again in the flesh in the World Cup. By then she'll be a veteran of one race, and that's a big improvement, 55.83. Over 56.20, so
yeah, so she's 55.77 she had the first run, so 83, 600 slower.
But she's gone from 500s in front to 4200s in front of Maddie Charney.
The snow doesn't affect the race here. The whole track's just about covered. It's almost like an arena. What they've done out here at the New York State has done unbelievable additions to the track, and that roof really makes it weatherproof. You know, it just can sustain all sorts of weather issues. There's 2 for 2. The first two people down come straight through that chicane, and that's not a straightaway.
She was toe steering with both toes to make sure that she wasn't fishtailing in.
Rookie, she's doing well here.
Yeah. Next up, Jackie Narracott of Australia with the green and gold of Australia. The girl from Brisbane in Queensland. Obviously hasn't got very far in the alphabet because her wintertime home is Bath. Brisbane to Bath. Married to Dom Parsons over the summer. We'll see Dom in action in the men's skeleton race tomorrow after a year away completing his thesis.
Only had the 20th best start in the first run. Her norm is in the top 12, 15 starts.
Bit of a
surprised
season.
at that, and she had the 200s better, but made some big mistakes here in the first run, Martin. She's more of an experienced slider. I would have thought she would have done better than 18th in the first run.
Yeah, this is a little better. Little skid there, but not too bad.
Didn't hit the wall.
Last year's season was kind of truncated by injury.
Well, she's got a half-second lead. The speed and the exit of Shady. 111.4 is what Stratton had, and she's got 110.7. So that speed, that difference is going to come back. So whatever it is,
was 4,800s up.
45, 116.6 is better speed than she had in the first run. She had like 113, 114. So she's got it figured out in this run. Much better for Jacqueline Narracott from Australia. 55.45. She is, let's see, 27 hundredths better in that heat. So that tells you her mistake in the first heat up between curves 1 and 2, 2 and 3. She corrected them. She could move up 2 or 3 spots. And Martin, she should be a 12th, 13th place finisher.
Yeah. Well, this might bring her into the range of Yuli Kanakina, Savannah Grable, Maddie Smith, maybe, who are ahead of her, the next 3 sleds. So she looks a lot happier with that run.
You run across Lake Placid, that's what you got to do. Then here, this is different. These 3 sleds have come down here, coming pretty straight. I don't know if they made some changes. Nobody came straight like that, Martin, in the first heat.
Well, Jackie Narracott takes over from Leslie Stratton in the leaders box. 3 down, 17 to come. You can see the Russian bobsleigh team watching trackside, supporting their skeleton athletes. This is former ballet dancer Yulia Kanakina, one of the fastest starters in the field. In fact, she was second quickest with a 5:22 getaway. but it was a horror story of a run.
She was good till the labyrinths.
Till
labyrinths. No, she had good times when she got out of the into the labyrinths.
Yeah.
22 in the first run. Everybody's getting faster. 20 or 19 here.
Well, if she develops her speed at the start, she needs to develop her sliding as well. So faster start than the first heat. I wonder if she's just a little too controlled
watch her
on
here.
the sled.
Exit of 3. Does she tap the ball once?
Yeah.
And she comes straight. That's much better than she did in the first run.
Yeah.
Now the 5200's lead. Well, we saw her with a huge lead in the first run. Just by the time she gets to the bottom part of the track, it's all gone. 47 though. Speed 111, 109. So she's almost 2 kilometers down to the Narracott speed.
Skidding around a little. She's trying to keep her form.
Oh, there, look at that. Now it's
through the chicane.
Watch, 114, so she's 2 kilometers down there, but she's going to be a lot worse. She's going to be hanging on, hoping for red numbers.
She's going to drop
She's
behind
not.
at
She's
the
going to
line.
lose it. Yeah, that
Buries
was too
her
late.
face
Then
and
she
hits
hits
the
going
wall.
uphill.
Wow.
55.90. That is 3,200 slower. So Narracott went 2,700s faster. The Russian sled went 30+ hundreds slower. That's a big difference.
The chicane was horrible, and the heart was a nightmare for her. She hit everything in sight there.
You aren't going to bring up Elvis, are you?
Not
Already?
yet. Not yet. It wasn't that bad.
Hitting everything.
Oh, here we go. But look.
That's a hard hit. Out of 13 into the 14, and she's just, not going straight.
And her legs hit the wall, and all of that is just slowing you down as you come uphill through that chicane.
Ballet dancer.
Yep. Well, that was not as balletic as it might have been. So she drops into second place. Jackie Narracott stays in the leader's box. Next up, Savannah Graybill of the USA. Savannah with a 20-second start drove herself into 16th position. She was only 100th ahead of Kanakina, and she was 700ths ahead of Jackie Narracott. So the gaps all the way through the field, apart from the top 3, are tiny.
22nd best start in the first run. Great speed in the bottom, top 7 speed in the bottom, but boy, she has to hit a home run every time out with that type of start. 55, she did 54 in the first run. We always like to say there's a tap there, and that's going to cost dearly. How many taps here? 1, straight, good line. But there's a multiplier effect of 3. If you're 20 hundredths behind at the start, you're going to be 60 at the bottom, all things being equal. Sun's coming out, Martin.
Yep.
It's going to put a little warmth to the track, reduce the friction. We could have a track record here.
We could. She's in the red still behind Jackie Narracott. 12th in last year's race. That was as recently as February this year.
The track record I'm referring to are the top 4 or 5 sleds yet to come. Ooh, high there.
Oh, good speed compared to Narracott, but she's in the red, so it's not enough to bring her back.
She's third.
A drop behind Kanakina.
Second. She got Kanakina by 500ths on the bottom. Kanakina hit everything in sight coming up that last straightaway. So she'll drop 1 spot. Savannah got to fund herself on tour, so there's a GoFundMe page for her to help her out as she goes across the Atlantic and the rest of the World Cup circuit.
Yep. Yeah, that schnitzel doesn't come cheap. 55.86 slide for Savannah Graybill.
American University field hockey player. This isn't bad either. Head down, pretty much in control. Not the speed that Narracott had, and that hard hit there cost us her. Look at her. She has to climb way up. That's a little too high. That's not bad there, though. She corrected. But when you have to correct like that, Martin, that's steering.
That steering is friction. Friction is not your friend. Jackie Narracott is our race leader with the first 5 sleds down here in Lake Placid.
Track is clear to start.
5 down, 15 to go. Race 1 of the Women's Skeleton World Cup in Lake Placid, New York. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action as Maddie Smith of Great Britain gets ready for her second run.
Top 10 start, 5:38 first run.
Former 100-meter hurdler.
Much better, 5:33.
Wow, that's
500's better. That's the biggest improvement from the first to the second run. Excellent start, speed, velocity. Bang, 1 hit, and nice.
Skeleton sliders and the bobsleigh athletes this weekend saying that the track has never been better. They had a huge field in North America's Cup 2 weeks ago with like 200 sleds a day going down, then luge last week. But the new Ice Meister here has done a great job with the ice.
It's Johnny Napier,
Yeah.
former U.S. Olympic bobsled driver, kid that was born and raised on the track.
Maddie Smith dropping behind, sinking like a stone. 3,400s up
Way
to
back.
2,300s back. This is not the run she wanted. Whatever she's adjusted,
she's going to
hasn't
fall
worked.
4 spots, even though she had a 500s better start time. So that is a heat to forget for the young Brit.
Yep.
And Jacqueline Narracott is starting to get up to where she should be, 12th or 13th at least.
Maddie Smith buries her head in her hands. She knows that did not go the right way. Now, whether she made adjustments to her sled that didn't work, or adjustments to her driving that didn't work, or both, you don't get another shot.
500s better at the start, so she should have a 1,500s improvement, Martin, but not very good result on the bottom part of the track. This isn't tennis. You can't throw one of these heats away.
See the elbow coming out on the left. Big steer there to pull it away from the wall.
She just caught it in that elbow right there, yeah.
Didn't get away from the wall at all. So Maddie Smith from Warwickshire will have to think again for next year's or next week's races in Lake Placid. Jacqueline Narracott, Savannah Grable, Julia Kanakina, the top 3 here in Lake Placid.
Track is clear.
6 sleds down, and now we get into a group of 8 sleds that are covered by 1,200ths of a second. Sophia Grable, a long way down from where she would like to be.
Yeah, this is the most accomplished slider in that pack. 3rd place at the bronze medal at the World Championships last year, and again if you don't perform as a German athlete, there's one thing everybody knows, that there's plenty of other athletes out there in the Europa Cup, the ICC Cup, that could replace you quickly.
Now, you talked about her World Championship medal. She's never had a World Cup medal. This is her 34th World Cup race. 16 of those finishes have been between 4th and 6th, never in the top 3.
Look at her feet. Look at her bullet form. Great technique, good exit, 116 kilometers. She doesn't have any speed at all.
Right down.
She got no speed at all, Martin.
She's in real trouble here, down to 200ths of a second from 2,200.
116.3 is the same. No, it's less than Narracott.
Yeah,
this
she's
is
going
right
behind.
to the 100. No, it's going to be red. Maybe our first tie of the day.
No, by
100.
Jackie Narracott moves up. Somebody get that girl a Santa Claus hat or something else for the leaders box. Well, 5:49.
Sophia.
It's not a bad start from Sophia Grable, but and the run wasn't that bad either. No, no big hits. Just didn't have the runner set up correct, I think, for the temperatures.
Something wrong with the speed and the exit of Shady. It was said it was 2 or 3 kilometers off. I found that hard to believe, but the clock doesn't lie.
Long skid there and
that
sideways.
Was, that was in the middle part of the curve. She had to steer then, and this wasn't perfect.
A great day at the office for Sophia Grable, is it?
No, not very happy.
However, Jackie Narracott continues to move up. Picked off 4 already. And this is a tight pack. This could go either way for Laura Dees of Great Britain. Dees rhymes with peas. Our Olympic bronze medalist from Pyeongchang.
Narracott, she's got like 40 hundredths deficit to these 3 or 4 sliders, and she's already picked a couple off.
31-year-old Dees is her 40th World Cup race, and hoping for a slightly healthier season than last year, which was a little bit interrupted.
So we've gone from a ballet dancer now to an equestrian rider. And, this Olympic bronze medalist, which I say there were some long odds for her winning that Olympic bronze medal, but it just seems like the British pull some rabbits out of the hat at every Olympics, Martin.
If you're going to go big at the Games. That's the way. Good start from her, 5:29, quicker than the
That's
first.
a huge lead.
Yeah.
She's got to really do something, hit really hard here on the exit of Shady or something to throw this away. 4900s came down a little bit, ended at 111 speed, 110. Could lose a little bit back.
It's better looking run, but again, the British sleds seem to be losing speed in a straight line.
115.5. She's got that.
Yeah, but 1.1 kilometers down, so the gap will come down from 4/10
That's
to
going to come
a
back.
third of a second, maybe.
Unless she hits the wall here coming up the hill, she's going to be the leader. There it is.
Oh, 2/10.
55.54. That was 900 slower than her first run. Remember, Narracott went 30 2/200ths better.
Well, Narracott with a 55.45, still the fastest run of the second heat.
Well, that tells you how bad her first heat was.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, the most important thing you can do in this sport is be consistent. These lines here, this is up in the 6-7, the Devil's Highway part of the track that's very tame as compared to what we've seen it in past years. The chicane, which is visually one of the nicest replays we have all season, looking at that chicane.
So Lācis takes the lead. And we have 12 sleds to go. Tied for 11th place, we have 2 sliders on exactly identical times. Kimberly Boss of the Netherlands and Megan Henry, our rookie from the USA. So Kimberly Boss, who tied the time, gets to go first off a 13th fastest start at 5:42.
Little pocket rocket from Roxbury, Connecticut. Good start, 3rd best start of the first heat.
She comes up next, Kimberly Boss, a winner on this
6th best
track.
start, surprised at that. So she was a very conservative line there. And a lot of problems, Mark.
Yep. We saw Kristen Bromley, the coach, the Bromley sled. She's sliding, likes to be set up to go fast and loose.
She's way off the pace. Those mistakes, so she's going to fall like a stone. Martin, I got to bring this up. Her favorite movie, Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is one of those. It's a nightmare 3 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah, her start, she had the 3rd best start in the first run, 5:48, and then in this run, she goes, it just...
42 to a 48, not great.
No.
Well, Sinterklaas arrived for the Dutch kids 2 days ago on Thursday. Obviously didn't bring her a good race in his pocket. Maybe she'll find one next weekend, because they race again next weekend. This is a make-up for Salt Lake, which should have been last week. 56.06. She drops like a stone.
I was referring to our next sled coming down, Martin. It was different on my start list, so I apologize. Megan Henry's coming up, so it was a nightmare run for Kimberly Boss.
Yeah, that is the nightmare before Christmas. Well, Phil Searle will pick up the sled, and Kimberly will come out next week and try and pick up the pace. But there was just skids everywhere. The sled just too loose for her to handle it. And look at this. Every time you go sideways, it's like putting on the brakes.
How not to do it might be the worst lines we've seen. And, you know, that's what happens. You know, you get one bad heat. And, you know, your World Cup points, your results in the first heat, everything can be just thrown out.
Well, got a smile on her face still. But Lācis is the leader from Jackie Narracott and Sophia Griebel. And now our World Cup rookie making her first World Cup start. And of course, to make it easy on her, she was first in the queue, the very first starter of the season.
And she did have the 3rd best start time. So again, I stand corrected. I apologize for Kimberly Boss for putting up some wrong numbers.
Savage Meglet, her first ever World Cup race.
26 in the first run.
Great starter. 5:35. Looked like a little slip as she was loading.
900 slower, and she needs every bit of that start, Martin. She's not very big. She's a little bit like the Russian sliders. A little diminutive in size, but great start athletes.
All right, only 500s behind Lācis at the start. How close can she keep this? I think Lācis is going to rise like a cork.
Laura had a very good exit of shady, good bottom part of the track. 2/10ths back. Laura's got the speed, 106 to 111. 4, there's 109, so she's way back. Now the question is how many spots she's going to fall, Martin. At least 2, unless she finds they have a speed line down here. 115.7 is pretty good, though.
Yeah, busy feet, but she's just trying to let it fly.
Hey, it's her first World Cup, the young athlete from Roxbury, Connecticut.
Well, the first deal was to make the field. She did that, and second fastest
Came
time.
back on the bottom, give her credit.
There you go.
Boy, slower at the start, a lot of mistakes, and not bad.
She likes to ride a wild sled.
I mean, she just finished behind the bronze medalist from the last Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, for her rookie debut. And
anytime you're ahead of a German slider who hasn't crashed or retired, you're doing well, and she's ahead of Sophia Griebel. Big height here, but again, no friction when you're in the air.
Look at that. She didn't. This is out of Benham's Bend and down in the chicane, and this is why she had probably the 2nd best speed, I think.
Well, a big skid at the X of the chicane, but that's going back downhill again.
4th or 5th best speed. Right. But, hey, that kept her in the top 3.
Big smile from Megan Henry.
There's
and a hard
the 2 of them
played
field hockey at American University.
Laura Dees, Megan Henry, Jackie Narracott, the top three. 10 down, 10 to go here in Lake Placid. Race 1 of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup.
Coming, Martin. We got some women's bob coming up.
Yep.
Hour and a half. There's Laura Dees.
Yeah, women's bobsleigh, two-man bob today. It's a double two-man. It's a two-man weekend this weekend and a four-man weekend next weekend.
And you know the beauty of this, this is like a pre-World Championship event.
Perfect dress rehearsal.
Dress rehearsal for the
Perfect
Lake
dress
Placid.
rehearsal.
And if you notice all this construction going on and all the Olympic facilities here,
Yeah.
Lake Placid is going through a tremendous upgrade of all of its Olympic facilities, courtesy of New York State. New frost rails and the ski jumps, new biathlon cross-country hiking center they're building out front that'll have a indoor bobsled push track.
Yeah.
They've got a alpine ski ride, alpine ride that's going over on the old track. They got a zip line that's right over here on the other side of these trees. There's a zip line construction going on. So, wow, it's all of this preparations for the 2023 World University Games, which it's an athlete, or it's a sport that brings in 2,500 athletes.
Yeah, that's huge.
450 universities represented.
So 2,500 athletes. What's the occupancy of the town? What's the population of Lake Placid? 4,500 maybe?
Yeah, well, 4,500 live here. There's plenty of rooms, you know. We can accommodate that.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I meant to look up last night. Of all the venues or all of the hosting towns that have had two Olympic Games, St. Moritz must be the second smallest, but no question Lake Placid is the smallest. You know, you look at London that was twice a host, Paris that's going to be twice a host. Those are huge cities, were then, are now. Lake Placid was always a very small town in the Adirondack Mountains with a huge attraction for sliding.
Celebrate our 40th anniversary this winter with the 1980 Olympics.
Tracks clear to start one for Marina.
Lake Placid in New York. Laura Dees leads halfway through the first women's skeleton race of the BMW IBSF season. 10 down, 10 to go, and in 10th place after the first heat was Marina Gilardoni, and she has 600s in hand over the current leader from the first heat.
36, 200 slower start. We've seen a lot of people starting better and slower. Marina, who's won medals before the World Cup, been battling injuries the last couple of years, the former bobsled brakeman, and you know, she was the best starter in the field 3 or 4 years ago. Now the Russians have caught her on that. She had the 9th best start in the first heat, but Martin, she's been dealing with back problems for a couple of years.
100th behind Laura Dees at the start, so her first round advantage has gone away.
Her speed is not in the top 3 or 4 there. She's going to have to be perfect down here, 1,300. 159 is good speed, top 4 speed, but I don't think she's going to catch anybody. Third, second, she's coming on. The uphill section needs to be perfect. She's got it.
Wow!
Wow. So there's some good example of somebody who knows how to drive a sled.
So that was 100 slower than Laura Dees' second run. She had 600s in hand. She survives in the top 10 by 500ths of a second.
And if you look, you can see Dees did have slower speed. That's how she caught her.
Yeah.
Third best speed so far.
And the key, I think, for Marina was the chicane.
Right here,
pretty tidy.
This is where the right out of this curve 14, Benham's Bend. That's the speed trap there, Martin. And a little tap.
Tiny rub, but
that's very good line.
Yeah.
That's speed there, and then to the finish. And this is an experienced slider with World Cup medals.
Yeah. Bobsleigh and skeleton slider. So Marina Gilardoni, that's her 60th World Cup race in skeleton, and she did 12 in bobsled as well as a brakewoman. Now then, here is our World Cup champion of last year, Elena Nikita. 6 World Cup wins in her career, 3 of which came last season, the first of which dates back to 2013.
Owns the start record.
Yeah, 5:03 is the record, 5:14 here in the first heat.
Unbelievable, the athlete she is up here on top of the track. She's diminutive in size, like the other Russian athletes, 5'11", so no one will get into the teens. I think her second best starter is her teammate who had a 5'21", Nikita. But this was a sloppy run in the first heat for Nikita, who won on this track last year and who just has a start record at every track. question is now, can she put a good heat together? And if she does, Martin, she could move up considerably.
Yeah, 6,200s ahead now. She's really motoring. This is what she needed in the first heat.
Right here was a big mistake in the first heat, and this time she's clean, very quiet. Here's the exit. Can she hang in here? 60, still 62, 115.7. Gilardoni had 15.9, so she's going to fall back a little bit, but boy, she's going to separate herself by over a half second.
Yeah, she might end up top 4 or 5.
39, she lost some on the bottom,
okay,
as expected, but still, look at that, 55.17, Martin.
That's now the fastest run of the second heat, and that would have left her in fifth position in the first heat, yeah. So the track may be getting a little quicker, but there's no question. Nikitina needed to blow off the cobwebs after that first run, didn't she?
Yeah, so she's 2,100s better, so she had a bad first run.
There's the smile back. See, that's the goofy smile on the helmet that is usually there when she takes it off as well.
Up top, speeds are slow. You have to be in a perfect aerodynamic position. Let the sled run. Here again, a little tap there.
Head up a lot as well.
Yeah, that's in the exit of Shady. Then this is 14. Head down here, and you know, 5th best speed, best start at the top. But she's the leader. She could live there a little bit.
Got to teach her to floss. So Elena Nikitina leads Marina Gilardoni and Laura Dees. Next up is Kendall Wessenberg, who took a bronze medal on this track. Coach Caleb Smith close to the camera.
Next two sleds are separated by hundredths of seconds. These three sleds all apart by 100th each.
Kendall third place here in February's race. Now what can she do with this second heat?
Modesto, California girl whose favorite food is the In-N-Out burger. You don't get those on the East Coast.
5:59, so she starts 4,800 slower than Nikitina.
4,800. That's a second and a half at the bottom.
And Nikitina's second run was not shoddy, so Kendall needs as close to perfection as possible here.
You know, the speed, she had great speed, top 4, top 6 speed in the first run, but 7/10 back, almost on the lip at Shady.
Yeah, but she's
112, that's some of the best speed.
She's working hard, the sled's not doing what she wants.
That's the best speed on the exit of Shady, she's coming. 6,600, 116, that's the second best speed. Not going to be enough though.
No, she's going to drop several spots here, knock us down to second.
She's bringing it back, third. Uphill, perfect, head down, second. Yeah, that's the start made in Russia.
Yeah.
She certainly is.
So Kendall Wessenberg in second place ahead of Marina Gilardoni, and we have 7 sleds to go.
Listen, that's a great run. That's a great drive down the track.
She's not happy with
just the start. When you're 4,800s behind the other person at the start, that's almost impossible.
She was fighting it hard at the top of the track. By the time she got to Shady, things were going a little better, but look, she's still climbing way high there. That sled got away from her there. Here, I mean, there's not much wrong with that line. You know, she's probably got the second best speed of the heat, third best speed of the heat. Yeah. Take speed into the heart.
You give her that start that the Russian had, she'd be the top of the leaderboard easy.
Jane Channel of Canada next up, 7th after the first heat in our field of what was then 25 sleds, 200s in hand over Elena Nikitina in this hugely tight midfield pack.
5th best start in the first run. Eric Bernardus, the former U.S. athlete, World Cup winner, and coaching the British, now coaching the Canadians. 5:29, so 200s better than her first heat. It's great start speed.
Liz Varche and Mimi Renevra both have medals on the Lake Placid track in the last few years. Last Canadian winner here, Sarah Reed, 2012-13 season. And she was tiny as well, wasn't she? 5:29 start, and the gap is opening up a little and a little more.
112 speed she's going to need, 110 off the pace. Now the question is, she's going to fall behind Nikitina, but can she catch the American? Speed, 114, way off.
Yeah. Still in second place ahead of Kendall Wessenberg on the split times, but this is going to be very close.
No, she's going to fall 3 or 4 spots.
Kendall had great speed in the heart, and Jane does not.
7th best time of the run, drops 4 places.
So So Nikita moves up, but the next gap will be bigger, and the one after that bigger again for Nikita to overcome.
So not a very good run for Jane Chanel. Drops like that, 4 spots. Better start too. She had a better start, but here,
Big height.
Yeah, with that scorpion was when the sleds fly, the legs fly up like that. Here she almost disappears behind that little elbow, and no speed on the bottom part of the track, and that cost her.
Yep, that might drop her out of the top 10. She's in 5th place with 6 to go. 6 legs remaining, and next up is Kim Marmans of Belgium. The little Belgian, 11th fastest starter, but she had a really strong first heat. She only has 1200s in hand over Elena Nikita. She is very exposed to the Russian speed.
Best finish last season was 11th twice, so we're looking here at a great way to start the season for this young Belgian athlete who I think she had a couple single-digit places the year before, Martin, but never medaled. Has come close. Last season, though, just didn't have the touch. 5700s back, 7th place. Watch the speed here on the exit of Shady. Here, 6, 7, 8 combination. Anything around 111 high.
2 World Cup races here, 11th in both of them. Now she's coming back. 5th place on the splits is looking like it's possible.
Hard hit there. Speed 110, didn't see speed that time. Tough to tell. 6, I don't think she's going to drop 4 or 5 places too.
I think she is. She's going to sink below Jane Channel. That's not a great second heat for Kim Marmans.
Clock is still running, so we do have a little clock issue. We have to go to the backup system.
We've got a total time that sees her tied to the 100th with Megan Henry. 1 minute 26.15 total for the 2 runs. So she's tied with Megan Henry, the rookie, and they are in 6th position. So Deanna panting there in the white jacket, shouting one of her athletes off at the top, or one of the athletes she supplies with the quickskin suits.
I don't see her.
So there is no, because the A timing system didn't complete the run, but the B there is a double timing system, so there's built-in redundancy. So Kim Marmans a little bit disappointed with that, I think.
Well, she should be.
Yeah.
Looking for a top personal best.
Well, 6th at the moment with 5 to go. She's got 2 11th place finishes, might be a 3rd. Next up, Anna Fenstetova, first ever slide for her in the World Cup as a Czech athlete. Her previous World Cup appearances were all for Germany, 14 of them. And she left the German program at the end of the season 2 years ago, slid for the Czech Republic last year in the Intercontinental Cup. Daniel Škleta there in the hat. He's our jury president running the race here.
Jeff Payne right here holding her sled. He's no, that's not Jeff Payne, excuse me.
Yes, it is. Keeping the runners off the ice so that they don't get any colder. Yeah.
Jeff Payne's the Olympic silver medalist from Canada, the 2006 Winter Olympic Games, and boy, was he a guy who let it go.
There's our race leader, Elena Nikita. We're waiting now for the clocks to be reset and so that everything is A-OK, ready to go. So Anna Fenstetova looking round.
Track is clear.
She was just about to put a coat on, and now she doesn't need to. So here we go, final 5 of our first race. Elena Nikita now the leader. Anna Fenstetova started 5.60 compared to 5.14 in the first heat of the leader. And the clocks are not showing us.
Anything that shows this.
All right, we'll do this old-fashioned style. So a little late out of corner 2. She had a wild ride in the first heat. It's giving us a total time, but no splits at the moment. The guys from Swiss Time will be scrambling to get this sorted out. Looking good so far. She comes down in towards Shady.
Good lines. I mean, she's a great slider. Top 5. You know, in the World Championships, 4th last year. Her grandmother is Czech, So she decided that there might be less competition for him over in the Czech Republic.
She's the double reigning junior world champion in women's skeleton. There's no question she is exceptionally talented. Just
ICC, she won the ICC and the Europa Cup last year, the second tour.
23 years old, she was 4th in the World Championships and comes across the line with a total time of something or other. Again, we'll have to work out on that now. She throws her head in her hands, so she is seeing track timing. So that, I'm suggesting, does not put her in the lead over Elena Nikita and may well have dropped her a little further down the order. Now, I think there is timing on the track.
There's a backup timing, just doesn't come through at our graphics.
May not be making it through into the TV truck and therefore onto our screens for graphics. Double hit in the chicane.
Got high there. Look at her feet, look at her profile. Great slider. She's very much like those Germans who don't get good starts, and she flies, but she looks a little perplexed.
Yeah. Smile is not there, which means the time wasn't either.
She might have to take another run if there's a... Oh, currently 4th, so she fell 3 places.
So Kendall Wessenberg is 2nd, Marina Gilardoni 3rd, Elena Nikita still leads. So 4 to go now with Tina Hermann next up for Germany. Just 100th out of the medals after the first heat. So this is really, I think, perhaps where the big battle is between Tina Hermann, Mimi Reniva, and our current leader, Elena Nikita. Nikita started 5:11, and Hermann 5:42.
And 43 in the first run. You know, a very, very good slider, world champion last year in Whistler, and she won the world championships in 2015 in Innsbruck, but she's taken a second spot to her teammate Jacqueline Lölling. Has been getting all the press. Of course, Lölling won the silver medal at the Pyeongchang Korean Olympic Games. So this would be a good time for her to put one down. And we really don't know about the good speed though. Excellent speed.
Yeah, but
that
she's
speed
in the
will tell you.
She is in the red and she needs to be coming back. She was 2/10 back. This is going to be Elena Nikita leading with 3 to go. No, it's not. She beats her at the line. Wow.
Speed. That speed in the bottom. She just took over the best speed on the bottom.
Well, Nikita is still with the fastest run, 55.17, but a 55.36. She had enough in hand. But is that enough to put Tina Hermann in the medals?
Mimi Reniva is 100th of a second ahead of her. Comes up next. Tina will take that. She put a good run down under pressure. But, you know, when you're a former 2-time world champion, I bet you she's got at least 6 World Cup victories in her time.
Well, Tina only 6th here in February.
Look at the form. Look at the form.
Ooh, yeah. Dropped low out of the corner there.
Head down right there into the real challenge part of the track. Exit of 14. And has the best speed of anybody in this spot of the track.
Hitting a skid going up through the chicane though, but Tina Hermann is our leader, takes over from Elena Nikita by a whisker. 3 to go. Well, we will likely have a German medalist, but who else is going to be there? Mimi Reniva next for Canada. 3rd place after the first of our 2 heats.
Young lady from Ottawa who's won twice last year in the World Cup.
Finished 3rd in the overall rankings.
But she had a very disappointing 12th place on her home track in Whistler at the World Championships. And be a good way to forget a lot of that by medaling here today.
5:29, 500's quicker, 300's quicker than her first start.
Bang, hard hit there. She's a better start. She's one of the better starters in the field. 3rd best start of the heat behind the 2 Russians. 1400's at the last clock. Speed, you know, 111 and change. It's the speed she's going to need here if we see it. We don't.
Ooh, little extra height.
Still on the green.
Fly. She knows that to beat the Germans.
14.9's not very good speed. Remember, Tina Hermann at 117 kilometers there.
Wow, she's going to go behind.
She finds some
she
angle.
Goes behind. She's not going to find it uphill out of the final corner.
No, 3rd best time, 55.44.
Hermann's in the medals. 2 to go. Tina Hermann leads. Tina Hermann, 6th here in February, leads with 2 to go, and Mimi Reniva in 2nd. 1st to 2nd is 700ths, 1st to 3rd, 800ths of a second.
Up next.
Well, maybe he's still got a chance. I mean, there's this track. There's no victory laps for these two athletes coming up. Perfect bullet form, but exits on the wrong side of Shady on the outlet here. This is tough to question that, Martin. That was pretty good. Head down into the elbow, into the chicane. Not bad, but no speed there. She was 2 kilometers down to Tina Herman.
Want to say hi to her teammate, a double silver medalist on this track, Elizabeth Varche. Now Elizabeth Meyer, 2 weeks away from giving birth to her first son. She's watching at home in Austria, so hey to you, Liz.
Okay.
2 to go. Here's the winner in 2016-17 and 17-18. Janine Flock won both of her last 2 races on this track. Can she do it again?
Well, if you want to watch or learn how to slide, the next 2 athletes who are the 18th best starters in the field, but they're the top of the leaderboard, they are speed merchants. They just know how to get everything out of the gravity that's offered you on the sport on the track here and fly.
The female skeleton athletes have been allowed another 5 kilos of weight for the maximum limit to reflect the fact that every generation is getting bigger. Janine Flock was offered the opportunity to have a 5 kilo heavier sled or be 5 kilos heavier herself. Which do you think she went for? She went for 5 kilos heavier herself, trying to put on a bit more muscle mass and keep the sled as light as you can for the start.
Still green numbers and what a perfect thing. 118
great speed.
That's what she does.
Wow, this is a big battle on her hands to try and overhaul Jacqueline Lölling from the first heat. Can Janine Flock go for a hat-trick of wins here?
What, 55.01.
That's a huge second slide, 55.
Only 200 slower than her first run, and the track, of course, is a little scratched up. There's been 18 sleds down in front of her, and Martin, that was some speeds that she had at the finish.
Yep.
And into the exit of the Benham's Bend into the chicane, but she's guaranteed a silver medal.
4700s clear of Tina Herman, so she's doubled her first round advantage over Herman.
And gives up time at the start.
Not to Lölling, though. They tied at the start.
Not to Lölling, no, but to Herman
So,
she did.
yeah.
And then, just want to know how to drive a skeleton sled? Right there.
2 minutes away from either winning or taking a silver. 2 medalists. It's Janine Flock leading from Tina Herman. Mimi Reniva currently in 3rd. Probably doesn't fancy her chances of getting a medal because Jacqueline Lölling is not renowned for giving races away. She's our final slider, led by 2 tenths after the first heat.
Last year, Martin, she went 5th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 3rd, 1st. Missed 2 events in Calgary because her grandmother passed away. She went back and attended the family funeral, came back out in the World Championships, and she finished in 2nd place.
This is her 31st World Cup start. She effectively wins once every 3 races. 5:49, same exact start as Janine Flock. She leads by 2 tenths as she lies down.
Now it's the battle of the 2 best gliders in the field for sure. And again, I think that increasing the weight, boy, that gives more advantage to this athlete who's the tallest athlete in the competition, maybe the heaviest.
And Janine as well, she has that
Look at her
advantage
feet.
too.
Look at her feet. Look at the profile.
The discipline is extraordinary.
Yeah, she's so quiet on her sled. I mean, there's just no tension. She just lets it LFF. 18.6, that's a joke.
She's not reacting to the sled, she's guiding it down.
Half a kilometer better than Janine Flock, so
heading to victory here, Jacqueline Lölling.
Watch out, everybody.
54.97
goes just 2400ths lead. Wow.
Fastest run in both heats. Victory for Jacqueline Lölling of Germany to start the World Cup season with a gold medal. Her 10th World Cup win of her career and her 21st podium finish. Only 5 races in her World Cup career has she been out of the top half dozen.
Other than the start, Martin.
And only 10 of them has she been off the podium.
Yeah.
She just is a winning machine.
She stays healthy. It's going to be tough for anybody to catch her, except maybe on the short track of Innsbruck. There's her teammate, Sophia Griebel. Tina Herman, who's You know, between those, they have the last 5 World Championships and Olympics.
Yep.
Janine, good to see her in a silver medal. Of course, Janine had the silver medal in her grasp at the Olympics in the last run, fell to 4th with not a great run. But hey, you don't want to watch the start for this German athlete, but if you want to watch how to put yourself down the track in a bullet position and how to get on and off these tight, quick curves, this is how you do it. I mean, there's good, and then there's Jacqueline Lölling.
Jacqueline Lölling had never won a medal on this track until February. She won gold then. She wins gold again on her very next appearance. And next weekend they're in, oh, hang on a minute, Lake Placid again. Jacqueline Lölling starts the season with gold. Janine Flock, silver. Tina Hermann, bronze. 3 World Cup champions filling the podium. Mimi Reneva in 4th place, just 700ths out of the medals, 100th ahead of Nikita. Kendall Wessenberg rounding it out with the top half dozen ahead of Anna Fenn-Steteva, Kim Marmans, Marina Gilardoni, and Laura Dees, the top 10. Jane Channel did drop out to 11th, ahead of Megan Henry, the rookie, Jacqueline Narracott, and then down to 20th place, Maddie Charney of Canada. So a couple of our rookies made it through into the field. Megan Henry and Leslie Stratton. Kelly Delka of Puerto Rico did not, and neither did Huiyong Lin of China, but they get another chance next weekend. And John, as you said, for the crew here, for the town, and especially for the athletes, a chance to rehearse for next year's World Championships. 2 weeks of solid competition, and Sun's starting to get his hat on for this afternoon's racing.
The 2 weeks of competition really applies to the bobsledders.
Yeah.
Because the skeleton would be 4 heats, 2 days, second weekend. So now they're 2 weekends apart, and they're only 2 heats. But for the bobsledders, 2-man on Saturday, Sunday. This is like a world championship for the 2-man today and tomorrow. And then next week it's 4-man on Saturday, Sunday. And Martin, the only other track that's held more world championships than Lake Placid, it's St. Moritz.
Must be, yeah.
1949, 61, 69, 73, 78, 2003, 2009, 2012. Pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I've been to every one but the 49. I wasn't born then.
Well, not yet, 32.
Yeah.
So there's your podium. Jacqueline Lölling in the centre. In the red jacket is Janine Flock, our silver medalist, and Tina Hermann takes the bronze. And Sophia Griebel, 14th place, will be doing some head scratching before next week.
Winter wonderland here in Lake Placid. Winter came early November. Hasn't left us. But if this is going to be winter, this would be great all year.
Yep.
We've seen a few 30, 40 below days in competition in the past. And
haven't we, though?
Yeah, so this would be a beautiful winter if it stayed like this.
Well, it certainly looks the part, and the town is ready for Christmas. But there's another whole 10 days of competition yet before the athletes get to go home. First race, the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup, Lake Placid, New York. Jacqueline Lölling wins it from Janine Flock and Tina Hermann. And the World Cup rankings reflect the status of our top 25 athletes, of all 25 who competed. Mimi Reneva in 4th, and Reneva, of course, 3rd in last year's World Cup rankings, behind runner-up Tina Hermann and champion Elena Nikita. But if Lölling and Flock can remain healthy, they are going to be real challengers for the Crystal Globe at the end of the season. So those are the World Cup points. In fact, everybody who competed will score points, but Jacqueline Lölling scores 225 for victory, and she'll be back next week, John Morgan, to try and do the same again. I would put a decent amount of money on her being able to do that, I think.
She's about a 2 to 5. She's just, look at her form. She's perfect. It's like she's on a rail coming down the track.
Well, she'll look at it and she'll go, hit the chicane, had her skid, little high there, little early there.
How many people we've seen with their feet out and their toes touching and everything? She's just got that bullet form the whole way down the track.
So flowers being presented to our top 3. Tina Hermann in 3rd place, Janine Flock in 2nd, and our race winner, Jacqueline Lölling. So Lölling 1 for 1 to start the season. 7 races remain. Can she do a Francesco Friedrich and sweep the season? It's never been done in any discipline other than the two-man bob last year. That's it then for Lake Placid and women's skeleton for this week. More action comes up with the women's bobsleigh, 12:30 local, 9:30 central and 17:30 Greenwich. Meantime, we'll see you then for the women's bobsleigh season opener.